Connolly.
Minister, my question is very specific in relation to the status of the development of the strawman proposal for the restructuring of long-term disability payments. And it's the most unfortunate title, the strawman proposal. I don't know who picked it. I doubt if it was you, Minister. And you know that this arises out of the roadmap for social inclusion. It was one of the commitments. We've had 2 reviews of that, or 2 assessments of it, and we're in the middle of a review of it. And the concerns in relation to these disability payments, I'll come back to. So if you could update me on it and stick within the time.
Thank you, Cathaoirleach, and thank you, Deputy, for raising this. The development of a straw man, and I suppose the purpose of a straw man is it's just a rough outline, and you can you can change it, and the consultation will lead to changes based on what the views are on the ground. The development is based on a commitment under the roadmap for social inclusion to develop and consult on a straw man proposal for the restructuring of long-term disability payments. The straw man also intends to simplify the system and take account of the concerns expressed in the Make Work Pay report, the Pathways to Work report and the findings of the Cost of Disability report. Work on the strawman is at an advanced stage and I expect it to be published during Q2. I intend to carry out a wider consultation process with all the stakeholders and advocacy groups following publication. The Indecon Cost of Disability report is also feeding into the preparation of the strawman reform proposals. The Indecon report identified that the cost of disability is a wider issue than income supports and runs across a number of areas of government. These include housing, equipment, aids and apply care and assistance services, mobility, transport, communications, medicines and additional living expenses. There is not a single typical cost of disability, rather there is a spectrum from low to high additional costs depending on individual circumstances. As the findings of this research have implications for so many areas of public policy, a whole of government perspective is needed. As such, the report was referred to the National Disability Inclusion Strategy Steering Group chaired by Minister Rabbitte. In terms of income supports, Budget 2023 included a combination of lump sums, increases to income disregards and increases to core weekly payment rates for disabled people. A further cost of living payment is due to be paid in April of this year. Work continues to support disabled people into work. In July, my department commenced an early engagement process with 18 to 22-year-old disability allowance recipients. This process will be expanding to other age groups over time. My department is also finalising a review of the Reasonable Accommodation Fund, and in Budget 2023 I announced an additional £1 million in funding to support the review's recommendations. Thank you.
Minister, you're normally very direct with me and I'm very direct with you.
Yeah.
And I have to say, it's over 3 years since the commitment was given. There isn't even a rough estimate of what this strawman proposal is. The roadmap for social inclusion is 3 years ago. That followed, as you said, the 2017 report, which found that the current system of supports for people with disabilities is complex and can be difficult for people to navigate. What is the delay? What is going on? The last time I asked a question was February. I was told that it was at an advanced stage. Where is it at? What's the delay? This is 3 years now, and we have all of the thing. We have the cost of disability report. All of this Dáil has discussed that. We know the complexity of it. What we want is a new approach to recognise the number of people in Ireland with a disability, the myriad of challenges that they face, and we need payments that empowers them to participate fully in society.
Thank you, Deputy Minister.
Thank you. Well, you're right, Deputy. I do give you straight answers because you like specifics, in fairness to you. I can tell you that we will publish the strawman by mid-May. And then what the reason is called a strawman is because you'll be able to make submissions, people will be able to, we'll engage with them, we'll engage with the stakeholders, and it's open to change, and the outcome of public consultation will influence the final reform proposals. The cost of disability issue is considerably wider, as you know, than the income support system, and it will not be addressed through income supports alone. And of course, Indecon, which the cost disability report estimated the overall annual cost of disability ranges from 9,482 to 11,374. Costs vary due to a number of factors such as the age of the person, the household type, the nature of the disability, as well as the severity of the disability. And can I just say that during my tenure as Minister in Social Protection, I've made a lot of changes to support people with disabilities, because I'm obviously very conscious that there's a lot of challenges out there for them.
Thank you, Deputy.
I realise that you're doing your best, but what I'm looking at here is a history of inaction in relation to disability payments. I'm afraid so, Minister. I'm looking at the cost of disability. I'm looking at the Indecon report, which was published on the 7th of December 21, but it had been commissioned in 2018. And of course, they clearly set out that income supports alone will not be sufficient. We know that. That's why we're doing this, unfortunately, titled strawman proposal. I mean, it's the daftest proposal I ever heard of in terms of title. But now you're giving me a date and you're telling me mid-May it will be published, further consultation. And now do you have a time for when we will have the action that we're going to take in relation to disability payments, so that they're fit for purpose and so that they empower a person with disability to live and take part in democracy and in society as best they can.
Thank you, Deputy Minister.
Deputy, I have to say that this government has done a lot to assist people with disabilities, and I can just say, just one example was last November I announced a disability support grant of €500, and that was very much welcomed by the Disability Federation. We had the carers support grant, but the disability support grant was a new concept, and that was very much welcomed. And can I just say the domiciliary care allowance will increase by €20.50 to €330 per month, and that was from the 1st of January this year. I'm the first minister since 2009 to increase that payment. And when there were issues brought to my attention, for example, Catherine's Law, I changed that, and there's been a whole list of things that we have done. Now, I've given you a date. To publish the strawman proposal. Then it has to go out to consultation, and we have to wait to see. We have to give time to have for the consultation to take place. So I think I've given you mid-May to publish the strawman. There's a lot of work goes into this, Deputy, and I have to say my officials work extremely hard in putting these things together, and it does take a bit of time. Thank you.